Okay, this is DragonofEternity and welcome back to World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth pre-patch. Now, in the last episode I took a look at the professions for the blacksmithing and mining and cooking. And I took a look at the collections tab because there was a lot of new pets and toys and mounts. So in this episode, as I log in, I'm going to be taking another look at stuff, and I'm going to be checking out the dungeon journal. Since I guess I want to take a look at the new things, and why are you guys standing here? I was going to say, he no longer gives you the thing anymore. There's no point in being in this way. Is there a different place with a seat? I just want to be out the way of people while I look at stuff. It is a shame I cannot actually sit on this seat like in Final Fantasy XIV. Which reminds me, I need to renew my sub. And I'll get in eventually. So I guess as I'm sitting on this seat, the first thing I want to take a look at was the map, because the map has got some new things, and I believe I briefly saw it when looking at the world quests. So we have Zandalar and we have Kulturas, and I want to say there's going to be another continent around here, or maybe around here. It just feels like there's going to be one. It's going to be like, where do I find this? It's going to be like Argus, where there's a few new zones, like in like 8.1, 8.2. It just feels like the way to go after Argus. So anyway, Zandalar. Zandalar is the Horde one. So we have the capital here, or really around here. In Zildazar, we have Nazmir, which has the first raid of the expansion. And we have Vol'dun, which has a giant snake statue. Now, I can't actually see all of the sites since I haven't explored it. Well, I maybe could have shown it off in beta. Oh well. So let's see. Botaco Isles, Port of Zandalar, the Great Seal, Temple of the Prophet, Warport Rastari, Zibala, Seeker's Outpost, Atal Graal, Scale Trader Post, Garden of the Lower, Atal Bazaar, I believe that's a mythic dungeon, Temple of Akunda, oh that's in Vol'dun, and we have dig sites, so there's going to be dig sites to do. So we have dig site Zibahari, dig site the Eternal Spring, dig site Zibala, Isle of Fangs, Tusk Isle, Seeker's Outpost. That's neutral. Huh. Interesting to know that these are Horde and those are neutral. So maybe the Alliance gets to use these. Yeah. So yeah, the capital's around here, and then you've got, like, surrounding areas. I believe Nessingwary up here somewhere. Yeah. So next we have Vol'dun. I'm going to assume that the Temple of the Snake is here. Tortaka Refuge. That's also neutral. Sanctuary of the Devoted. That's also neutral. Vorik Sanctum. Vulpera Hideaway. Temple of Akunda. Scorched Sands Outpost. So this place is like a giant desert with, how do I explain it? There were like civilizations before, but now they've crumbled. So it's kind of like the Egyptians. Except it's not Uldum. Yeah. So let's see, dig site. Court of Zak Rajan. Dig site Verdant Plateau. Dig site the Eternal Spring. So we've got dig sites there. And finally Nazmir, which holds the raid. Now you can't really see the raid, but, well. Now, fun fact, I thought this was glitchy here. I thought this was glitched because there's not an actual outline here. No, it turns out that's a dock. So, yeah. It still annoys me like there's not an outline. But, hey, what are you gonna do? So let's see, the flight paths we have are Zul'Jan, Zobal Ruins, And Gloom Hollow. Totoka Refuge. Sapahari. Interesting to know that there's no neutral flight points around here. Maybe I have to unlock them. I don't know. So this is where the new hub city is. That's a desert place, and this is like a big swampy place with the first raid. So next we have Gul'Daras. We have Tirisgard Sound with the hub capital. We have Drustvar with a mansion. And we have Stormsong Valley with a giant squid on a mountain, which I think Preach referred to as Hentai Mountain. Something like that. Also, there's a tiny island over here. I don't know what that is. Oh well. So I guess first is Tirisgard Sound. And Baralis. Baralis is the... Actually, hang on. Did I do the Horde capital? There we go. Dazar Alor. So we have the Grand Bazaar, we have Port of Zandalar, we have Talaman, we have Tal Farak. We have the Great Seal, which is pretty much your hub. We have Terrace of Crafters, which I assume is going to be the professions bit. We have the Zocalo, I have no idea what that is. And we have Zankul, I don't know what that is. And we have the Silver. And Wobeast Kral. And Temple of the Prophet. And Atal Dazar. And Wobot Osari. So yeah, it's kind of rectangular, I guess. So yeah, it's a nice golden city in the middle of some mountains. It reminds me of the Emperor's New Groove. Which reminds me, I really need to get back to that PS1 game. I never completed it. Yeah, whenever I find a way to record PS1 games on this PC. So anyway, back to Baralis. We have Tradewinds Market, which I'm pretty sure is your hub. It's like where you're going for missions and maybe professions and stuff. We have Ashfane Docks. We have Mariners Row. We have Unity Square, Proudmoor Barracks, Proudmoor Keep, and Stormsong Monastery. So it's a giant coastal city protected by a wall with a canal through it. Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about it. It kind of reminds me of, well, any coastal city, really. Eh. Okie dokie, so that. First place is... Wait, just got sound. Just got sound. Okay, so they kind of share the same map, then. That's a bit awkward. Yeah. So I'm going to assume this entire continent to the left, or this island, is Drustvar, so I guess I'll be taking a look at the top part and the right part. Interesting to note, like, we don't have any Alliance-only flight paths. Although maybe I need to log on to the Draenei to find them. Yeah. So we have a Horde one, which is Waning Glacier. We have a dig site, which is Rockslip Woodlands. We have a neutral one, which is Freehold, which is a dungeon. And we have Castaway Point. So... I don't know, it's a bunch of land. You have to probably go through Baralis in order to get to another bit. Unless you had a water walking mount. But then again, what creatures lurk within the ocean? Or, you know, the inland sea, I guess. I don't know, is this salt water? Is this fresh water? I don't know. I mean, it's connected to the ocean, I guess. I don't know. So let's see, Drustvar. We have dig site Brackish Coast. We have dig site Hunter's Run. Dig site Ice Veil Glacier. So there's going to be an icy bit. Dig site Aram's Crossing. White Grove Chapel for a neutral flight path. Anyport for a neutral flight path. And that's about it. So let's see, Stormsong Valley. If you'd load, please, thank you. No news on what this island is. Maybe it's the Alliance scenario bit? I don't know. So let's see, Stormsong Valley we have Shrine of the Storm, which is a dungeon. Dire Tusk Hollow. A neutral one, which is Seeker's Vista. And I guess these are the only dig sites for here then. Okay. Oh, that's Tol de Gore, which is a dungeon. Okay. Interesting to know that it's its own separate thing. So is this its own separate thing? No. Okay. So that's the map of the new area, and I kind of want to check the Draenei just to check to see if there's any alliance things. There should be, I hope. So let's see, on the alliance, if I go to Kulturas. Yep, there's a bunch of flight paths. Okay, so in Borealis we have Tradewinds Market, Haverford, Proudmoor Keep, and Mariner's Row. Let's see, in Tearsgard Sound we have Outrigger Post, we have Roughneck Camp, Norwington Estate, Haverford, Tradewinds Market, Borealis stuff, Bridgeport, Kenning's Lodge, Vigil Hill, and we have the neutral one. So this looks like a pretty big zone. I have yet to explore this place on beta. Let's see, on Vigil Hill. In just before we have Hangman's Point, Fletcher's Hollow, Fallhaven, Aram Stand, or Strand. No, it's Stand. Omayo Stando, Aram. No. Falconhurst, Watchman's Rise, Rygrove Chapel, and Newport. By the looks of it, that dungeon's by the chapel. Yeah, I guess so, it's neutral. Let's see, Stormsong Valley, we have Millstone Hamlet, Fort Dalen, Deadwash, the Amber Waves, Brennadam, Mildenhall Meadery, Tidecross, and Shrine to Storm. So I guess Horde gets its own version. Okay. And does Tol de Gore have one? No. Okie dokie. So with that done, back towards the Blood Elf. So that's all of the map stuff I can take a look at. So, the Dungeon Journal. Yeah, the Dungeon Journal, since there's a bunch of new dungeons and raids and bosses / sit. Also, just in case, go to party. What I'm looking for? I am looking for this. Suggested content in Taurus. Yeah, you just want me to do PvP at this point, which I'm not going to do. So let's see, I believe I briefly explored this last time. Item sets. Brain Trust. Increase shield block value by 441. Yeah, that's... no. That is a... Hang on, that's actually... Well, I say this because it's a direct upgrade, but I don't know if this is actually any good for Retribution Paladins. So the feat would be good as a straight stat boost, but the shield, that's for protection. Okay, so both of them are buying on equip. How much are they going to be selling for on the auction house? I don't know. Let's see, Wayquest Legacy. I guess this is from Wayquest Mansion then. When you trigger a cacophonous chord or harmonious chord, like my throat making a noise now, there is a 40% chance to trigger the other chord at 60% of the power. What does that even mean? What is a cacophonous chord and what is a harmonious chord? Your damaging spells have a chance to cause a cacophonous chord dealing damage. Your healing spells have a chance to cause a harmonious chord, restoring health to a nearby ally. Okay, so if you're healing, then there's a chance to trigger the damage one. If you're doing damage, there's a chance to trigger the healing one. I assume. Okay. Frenzied Battle Plate. Your damaging spells and abilities have a chance to send you into a wild frenzy, granting you strength for 15 seconds. Okay. It's really sad to see like that's better than legendary, but yeah, 10 levels ahead. So what does that look like on the character? I look golden. Let's see, Sandstorm Plate. Set chance to, when taking damage, to increase your dodge. Yeah, this feels like a tank one. This really feels like a tank one. Okay, so what does that look like then? The exact same colour. Under all classes. Venom Bite, Thunder Crash, Tailwind, Sea Sister, Plate. Not really much of an option for Plate. Well, except for the Frenzied set. Yeah, you only need 2 out of the 4. Okay. That's something to look at then. So let's see, the first dungeon. Let's see. King's Rest is the mythic one. And Siege of Borealis is the mythic one. So I'm going to need to find some people to do mythic with. Well, most of the guilds come back thanks to the new expansion being released soon, so that shouldn't be too hard. Yeah. So let's see, Bazaar. For millennia, the Zandalari kings were laid to rest within the tombs of Bazaar, scheduled or secluded high atop the mountain Magomba. These pyramids grew more elaborate with each passing ruler as new rooms were constructed to house the deceased's vast wealth. Now, these once pristine halls had been corrupted by the Prophet Zul and his trusted lieutenant Yasma, who seek to twist the power of the ancient kings to their own dark machinations. Do we have a map for this place? Show map. So we have Yasma, we have Volkal, we have Priestess Alunza, Sacrificial Pits, and we have Razan. Okay. I believe Razan and Zul are a thing. What am I trying to say here? They are part of the story. Yeah. Right, back to the adventure guide then. Priestess Alunza. As a fanatical defender of Taldazar's golden sanctum, Priestess Alunza has come to cleanse the temple of all corruption at any cost. Okay. Priestess Alunza will expel pools of tainted blood at random locations and coat players with molten gold at random. When Priestess Alunza reaches 100 energy, she will cast Transfusion. Damage dealers. Stand near a pool of tainted blood and step into it just as Priestess Alunza begins casting Transfusion. Okay, tainted blood. The victim's blood is tainted. Molten gold. Splattering a player at random. Victim burns. Transfusion. Channels the ritual. Purification 5 seconds in. Inflicting shadow damage to all players and healing herself for 0.5% of her health for every 1 second. For 5 seconds. Any players with tainted blood will cause Priestess Aluna to lose 1% of her maximum health instead of healing. Okay, so if you have tainted blood, you should step in the molten gold, and then she will absorb the gold and the tainted blood with it. Okay. So she looks like a golden Troll. Yeah. Okay. So next is Volkar. Or Volkal. In life, Volkal was a trusted bodyguard of Yasma. Since his untimely death, I'm going to assume that we kill him in a quest then. Since his untimely death, she has used her newfound powers to reanimate the corpse of a former lieutenant who can now serve for eternity. Volkal is empowered by Yasma's bad voodoo until all of the reanimation totems are destroyed. Once all of the totems are destroyed, Volkal begins to rapid decay. Volkal begins to decay, inflicting shadow damage to himself until he is slain. In his death throes, Volkal increases his physical damage done by 25%, begins to spew toxic pools. Avoid toxic leap. Avoid standing in toxic pools. Interrupt noxious stench. So we're fighting a giant undead troll. Okay. Okie dokie. Next is Razan. Razan, once a lower to the Zuldazar kings, had his soul torn from his body during a ritual. Now only a twisted husk remains, bent on devouring anyone who enters his hunting grounds. Razan inflicts severe damage with his serrated teeth, devours players at random, and frightens all players with his terrifying visage. Razan tries to eat the victim whole, inflicting physical damage every second for 8 seconds. Okay. Hide out of line of sight when he uses terrifying visage. Run away from Razan when he starts to pursue you, avoiding any ancient dry bones as you attempt to flee. The remains of this raptor are ready to awaken the slightest disturbance. Standing in the bone spawns a reanimated raptor that will attack players. Okay, so that's an ad spawning mechanic. Okay. So we have a giant zombie mummy raptor then. Yeah. Okay. So let's see, finally Yasma. Having consumed the might of Shadra, the spider lower, Yasma is now tasked with holding the sacred temple of Untitled Bazaar for her master, the Prophet Zul. Upon reaching 100 energy, Yasma's calls... Yeah, there's a bit of alliteration there. Yasma calls forth the souls of players afflicted with soul rend, creating a soul spawn that moves towards her. Okay. Let's see, Soul Rend. Upon reaching 100 energy, Yasma inflicts shadow damage around a player, ripping a piece of the target's soul free, creating a soul spawn at the target's location. Soul spawn. All soul spawn slowly move towards Yasma. When a soul spawn reaches her, she unleashes a soul feast. That don't sound good. Summons forth several shadowy spider images. Touching an echo causes it to burst, inflicting damage, creating a pool of shadowy remains. So move away from that. Move away from Yasma while affected with Soul Rend. Yeah, you want to get your piece of soul far away from her so you can DPS it down before it reaches her. Kill soul spawns before they have a chance to reach Yasma. And that is a creepy spider. That is a creepy ass spider. I guess when a troll absorbs a spider lower, she becomes a spider. Kill her with fire. Alright, so 1 down, 9 to go. Yeah. So let's see, Freehold. Actually, before I do anything. Mythic. No. 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 I was gonna say, do you drop a mount on Mythic? That'd be fun. Oh, the final boss drops a mount. Oh, that's shark bait. Yeah, that's a mount. Okay. A 2-hand sword. That would be nice. Dual shock splitter. Let me take a look at that. It's not too bad. I'd still transmog it to Ashbringer now. Sharkbait's fishhook. Oh. Okay. So let's see. Freehold. Freehold has traditionally served as a haven for pirate scoundrels and those who wish to live free of Kulturan control. Now the Untitled Raiders have brought the city under their harsh rule and are coercing the various pirate crews under their banner. While the pirates gather, a small group of heroes must infiltrate the town and eliminate their leadership to dissolve this growing alliance of cutthroats. Okay. I'm surprised that one guy from the rogue autohole isn't there. Well, maybe he is. That'd be interesting to see. So anyway, Sky Captain Crag. Sky Captain Crag and his faithful mount Sharkbait are the guardians of Freehold, continuously patrolling the sky on the lookout for intruders. At least that is what they're supposed to be doing. Instead, these two are often found snoozing on their crow's nest or dropping guano on unsuspecting victims from above. Captain Crag charges. Fucking pirate puns. Into combat mounted on his giant parrot Sharkbait at 75%, Crag will dismount, and Sharkbait will take to the sky, raining vile bombardment. Yeah, he's throwing his poop. Nature damage and reduced movement speed. Okay, so damage dealers spread out to decrease damage from Azerite powder shot. Enemies in a cone. Interrupt revitalizing brew. He chugs a brew, healing his health. Interrupting his chugging will knock the bottle out of his hand to the ground around him. Could you get his brew? I don't know. So the mount from the final boss is the mount he's riding. Says Sky Captain Crag with. Is that going to offer you any protection? I gotta wonder. Can I have that? Doesn't look like it. Well. Head, cloth, head, shoulder. Oh, it's mail. Damn it. Okay. So that's Captain Crag, and that's Sharkbait, who's missing a foot. How very pirate. Yeah. So let's see. Council of Captains. Captains Raoul, Adora, and Jolly meet within Freehold to drink and confer. They lead the Blacktooth Brawlers, Bilge Rats, and Cutwater Corsair crews, currently gathered under the banner of the Iron Tide by Horan Sweet. The three leaders of Freehold's crews enter combat together, joining one of the captains and his or her crew prior to engaging with the council will earn you an ally, drastically improving your chances and negating the effects of under one banner. The three crews sail out of Freehold under a single banner and are stronger together. Health is increased by 100%, all damage done is increased by 1000%. So there's going to be an achievement for either joining all of their crews, like one each run, or joining no crews and killing them. Damage dealers, free allies disoriented by Blackout Barrel by destroying the barrels. Okay. So, Captain Adora is a Volpera. They're going to be a bloody allied race soon. Tiny furries. That's what everyone's going to turn into. Captain Jolly. I love that outfit. I love the coat. I don't think you're able to get it, though. And Captain Raoul. Yeah, you're just a big guy. I kind of want to make a Kulturan whenever they get released. Yeah, God knows what I'd turn it into, though. I already have all the classes. Let's see, Ring of Booty. If in Freehold there is a fighting tournament with where the fiercest brigands from across the seas test their might, this rogue gallery consists of a strange assortment of contenders, but not so fearsome as the current champion, Shark Puncher. Countless challengers have sought to topple the powerful pugilist, but all of them have ended up as chum. Trofak, the champion of the Ring of Booty, enters the combat using the two sharks strapped to his arms as weapons. Excuse me? Alternating between swinging sharks at nearby players and throwing sharks at faraway players, Trofak is a danger to anyone in his arena. You have fucking sharks as weapons. That's hilarious and awesome. Let's see, damage dealers. Avoid standing between Trophak and loose sharks to evade taking damage from rearm. Charges a nearby shark to anyone in the way. Upon reaching the shark, he attaches the shark to his arm. Flailing shark will move towards its nearest target. Leaps on nearby enemy, inflicting nature damage to all enemies within 5 yards of the shark. And yeah, it's an ogre. Okay. So finally, Harlan's Suite. Harlan's Suite is the lead of the Iron-Tide Raiders, and his vast wealth is only exceeded by his foulness. Currently bankrolled by Lady Ashvane. Suite has been tasked with uniting the various pirate crews by any means necessary. Okay. Harlan's Suite rolls his magically loaded dice at 60% and 30% health remaining. They're gaining advantages via loaded dice all hands. Harlan's Suite's abilities target additional enemies. And loaded dice, Man of War. Harlan's dice gives him the power of a Man of War. Attack speed increased, all damage taken is increased. His abilities trigger more frequently. Okay. Let's see, damage dealers. Defeat or authorize prevent Iron-Tide Grenadiers from reaching their target to avoid the effects of Black Powder Bomb. Detonate when reach their target, inflicting fire damage to all enemies. I don't even have that much health. Mind you, this is mythic. On normal? Much more manageable. Heroic. Deadly, but not lethal. To me, at least. Stand behind Harlan's Suite to avoid taking damage from Swift Wind Saber. With a flick of his saber, Harlan bends the trade winds to his will and sends them flying forward. Enemies that collide with the winds are knocked back and suffer nature damage. Until he's empowered by loaded dice all hands. Okay. And that's Harlan's Suite. It's a tiny thing. It's a tiny midget human. Yeah. Okay, 2 down, many to go. Let's see, the Golden Serpent. Also, I should probably read King's Rest. Also, Freehold, take a look at the map. There's only one map, good. So you start at Smuggler's Run, you fight Sky Captain Crag, then you go to the Council Captains, then the Ring of Booty, and then finally Harlan's Suite. Okie doke. So, back to the adventure guide. Let's see, the Mother Lode. This is a mythic-only dungeon. So, we have the Golden Serpent. We have Machimba, the Embalmer. The Council of Tribes, and Bazaar, the First King. That's going to be fun to do. Seeing as it's a mythic dungeon. So let's see, few places in Zandalar are more sacred than the King's Rest. Every king, conqueror, or tyrant who has held control of the Zandalari Empire is housed within this great city of the dead to protect and honor not only their bodies but also their spirits. Entry has historically been restricted solely to the Zandalari priesthood and royalty. But as Azul's dark magic winds its way through the tomb, you must venture inside and put an end to the darkness that has found purchase here. And Mummified Raptor Skull from the final boss. So that gets you a Mummy Raptor, which I believe is a reskin of the Collector's Edition mount. Okie doke. So let's see, the Golden Serpent. King's Rest has come under attack before. After a foolish troll tried to summon Hakar, the Soul Flayer, to this island many millennia ago, the priests of Zandalar created a mighty construct to defend this tomb. The Golden Serpent has stood against intruders ever since, judging who is worthy to enter these sacred halls. The Golden Serpent spits gold at party members, who then leave it behind in the form of molten gold. Okay, so that's an AoE. I'll put it on the floor. The Golden Serpent will later animate these poles of gold with Lucre's Call. Kill the animated molten gold before it reaches him to avoid having it empower him with luster. Okay, so... yeah. Move away from the Golden Serpent and your group members when afflicted by Spit Gold to better place Molten Gold. Use stuns, roots, and knockback effects to help your group prevent animated gold from reaching the Golden Serpent. And that is a Golden Serpent. Although it kind of looks more bronze to me, but, well. Let's see, Makimba or Machimba. The Embalmer. There was once a caste of Zandalari whose purpose was to preserve and defend the remains of past rulers, but when a terrible plague of corrupted blood tore through the empire, it was too risky for mortals to handle the dead. Golems were summoned for the grim work of preservation and burial. They have been used ever since. Machimba, the Embalmer, is a construct enchanted to entomb the ancient kings of Zandalar and uses his powers to entomb players and prepare them for their eternal rest. Okay. If you interrupt drain fluids with an immunity, you will avoid desiccation. If you are entombed, struggle to let your players know which crypt you are in. When players are entombed, look for the signs of struggle to free them. Okay. So a giant mummy golem who entombs you. Well, that's scary. The Council of Tribes. There was once a time when no single emperor could rule Zandalar. After a period of civil war, the heads of 3 families formed an uneasy coalition and tried to rule the empire together. Though they did not often agree, there was peace in Zandalar. Briefly. The battle begins with one of the 3 councillors. The order that the councillors join the battle changes from week to week. Okay. When a councillor is defeated, they will return to the urn and the next will join the encounter. However, the defeated council will periodically rejoin the battle to use a single ability and then return to the urn. When all 3 councillors are defeated, the encounter ends. So, interrupt Zanzal the Wise's poison over. Be prepared to kill Zanzal the Wise's totem when he casts Call of the Elements. Move in front of players targeted by barrel through to reduce the damage they take. So we have Akali the Conqueror, who is a big woman. We have Zanazal the Wise, who looks like a normal troll. And Kula the Butcher, who is a thin Zandalari woman. Okay. So next we have Bazaar, the first king. Bazaar, the founder and first king of Zandalar, who led an exodus of his people out of the muck and mire to build a city of gold. The first tamer of raptors, the warrior undefeated, the father of a kingdom. His eternal repose cut short by Zul's dark magic. It lies to you to once again put him to rest. Okay, so Zul's took control of him then. Dominated by Zul's dark magic, Bazaar returns from the dead with his overwhelming martial prowess intact. At 80% he calls for his hunting raptor, Raban, to join the fray. At 60% he mounts for Tazala, his royal steed, who protects him with Eternal Guardian. All damage to Bazaar is redirected to Tazala. Finally, at 40% he activates the spear launchers in his room, which continue to fire players until Bazaar is defeated. So that's a soften range. Let's see damage dealers. If you are targeted with Quaking Leap, move away from the group. Or if another player is targeted, move away from them. Okay, so that's King Bazaar. I really like that right arm. Do you get that right arm anywhere? Shoulder cloth? No. Shoulder plate? No. Shoulder mail? No. Okay. So that is King's Rest, the mythic dungeon. That'll be interesting. Next on the list is Shrine of Storms. One-hand sword. Okay. So, is there a map? Is there a map? Is there a map? If I go into overview, there is. Yeah, so it's by the Tentacle Mountain. Okay, okay. Shrine of Storm, Storm's End. Okay. So that's the adventure guide. The Shrine of the Storm is a seat of power that, the The Shrine of Can I not stutter? The Shrine of the Storm is a seat of power for both House Stormstone and the Tide Sages alike. Here, blessings upon the fleet are performed to ensure that the Kultiran fleet knows no equals in combat. Yet a dark force has corrupted these sacred grounds and threatens to steal control of the Kultiran fleet forever. Gee, I wonder what dark force it is. So let's see, the first boss is Akrasur. The deeps hide many powerful secrets lost to time. A master of these waters, Lord Stormsong calls upon one of these creatures of myth to defend the sacred shrine. Akrasur, formed from the depths, seeks to wash away intruders at the sacred temple, even. At 50% health remaining, he will split into smaller aqualings which mirror his abilities. When each of the small elementals are defeated, they reform into Akrasur to resume the battle. Okay. Destroy grasping tentacles to free allies from from the depths. Surging Rush and Undertow can push or knock you back. Quickly defeat each of the small elementals created by erupting waters to minimize their threat. And it's a tentacly water elemental. That is creepy. Okay. So next is Tide Sage Council. Brother Ironhull and Gale Caller Faye use their power to bless the Kultiran ships and ensure their fleet remains unmatched on the seas. The Tide Sage Council attack together, with Brother Ironhull inflicting heavy damage on the tank, as Gale Caller Faye uses her wind attacks to damage the party. Brother Ironhull will use his Blessing of Ironsides, as well as Reinforcing Ward, while Gale Caller Faye will use her Blessing of the Tempest, as well as Swiftness Ward. Use Reinforcing Ward and Swiftness Ward to your advantage. Decreases damage taken while within the ward. Ah. Swiftness Ward increases haste and movement speed. Okay. Interrupts Gale Caller's Faye's Slicing Blast. Increases nature damage taken. Ooh. While under the effects of Blessing of the Tempest, interrupts will cause a blowback. So you've got a big guy, and you got a thin woman. Okay. Next is Lord Stormsong. Master of House Stormsong, Lord Stormsong leads the Tide Sages in their oceanic blessings and ways, however, not all is as it seems. Lord Stormsong has the power over the Void. Oh great. And will periodically cast Waken the Void, which should be evaded. Players afflicted with Ancient Mindbender are forced to cast Surrender to the Void and then seek the Awoken Void out to interrupt the cast. Okay. Damage dealers who are under the effects of the... damage allies who are under the effects of Ancient Mindbender. Avoid damage from Waken the Void unless under the effects of the Ancient Mindbender. Interrupt Void Bolt. So he looks human, but judging by this, he develops a more tentacly face. Yeah. And finally, Volzif the Whisperer. Sent by Queen Ashara to subvert the Tide Sages, Volzif whispers promises of power to those willing to listen. Volzif the Whisperer promises power, but only offers doom to those who would accept the bargain. Upon reaching 100 power, Volzif begins to drown all players with Grasp of the Sunken City. Upon reaching full energy, Volzif the Whisperer pulls all players into a sunken realm, sealing them away and drowning them until they defeat the shadowy denizens within and rescue their allies. Can I just use a water-breathing potion? Focus attacks to defeat the forgotten denizens when afflicted by Grasp of the Sunken City to return to the surface. Manifestations of the deep created by Call the Abyss attempt to crawl towards and empower Volzif the Whisperer. And that's just an old one summoned by the old gods. Not even that, it's a minion of the old god. Old gods even. Did you drop a mounted mythic? Ensemble, Vestments of the Tide Sages. Wow. So you drop it Mythic then. That's a thing. Do you drop in any other difficulty? No, only Mythic. So if you want that appearance for your character, you gotta do it on Mythic. Okay. Okie dokie.